Well, hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, it's the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, the animated series, and as a bit of a treat to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Star Trek animated series, they're releasing a bunch of these very short Trek episodes. Obviously, we've had short Treks before when Discovery first started. We got a bunch of short Treks for that. When season 2 came along, we had a couple of short Trek episodes which sort of showcased, which was sort of almost like a proof of concept pilot for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which, you know, featured number 1 and Spock and Pike and everything. But as a bit of a homage to the 50th anniversary, we're getting these little, what seem like almost comedy skits based in the Star Trek world. I get an impression that they're a bit tongue-in-cheek, so they're more along the lines of maybe Lower Decks, based on the first one that's just come out today. Okay, so let's take a look at this first short Trek, which is entitled Skin a Cat. So right off the bat, I love how they've redone the Star Trek opening, which we see play at the start of every single Star Trek series, whether it's been Picard or Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks and whatever, and every time it plays, it has a different style to it. The ones that play for Strange New Worlds obviously have the Enterprise zooming around in it. If it's Lower Decks, it has the Cerritos zooming around in it. If it's Picard, I think it had the Titan zooming around in it, sort of thing. But in this version of the Star Trek opener, it's done in a really crappy 1970s style animation. The animation is got a bit of a low frame rate. It's a bit grainy. It's a bit gritty. The quality of the audio is really pretty crap compared with today's standards. So they've gone to the effort to make this completely as authentic as possible and replicate that early 70s style of TV cartoons that, you know, where everything was just a little bit rough around the edges. And I love it.
Captain, our weapons are disabled and our shields are down.
I have a way to get us out of here.
How? Our warp and impulse drives are also offline.
So originally when I was first watching this, I thought, is this meant to be Kirk? Because it's obviously on the bridge of the Enterprise. Spock is there in a sort of a first officer capacity. So I'm thinking, yeah, is this guy kind of meant to be Kirk? But I don't think he is. I think he's just meant to be a sort of a nameless Starfleet captain, played by Pete Holmes. He looks like Pete Holmes. It's not like there's somebody doing a kind of a Kirk impression or anything like that. I think it's just meant to be a heightened comedic, generic Starfleet captain role that Pete Holmes is playing. And good to see Ethan Peck picking up the dialogue for Spock in this one too.
Well, my Vulcan friend, you will soon learn there's more than one way to skin a cat.
What?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Maress. I didn't mean to offend you.
Do your people skin cats?
I don't know where it came from. Maybe pioneers? It's just a figure of speech. I've never done it. I wouldn't do it.
How would you like it if I say there is more than one way to disembowel a human?
Good to see Maress back, and we're obviously starting off here down a road that our captain is going to get himself in a bit of trouble quite quickly, I feel. And I think it sort of highlights the amount of phrases and analogies we sort of take for granted in everyday speak that don't necessarily mean any offence, but when dealing with the wonderfully diverse world of Star Trek aliens, the potential to get yourself into trouble, as we're about to see, is considerable.
Now is not the time to argue this. We have bigger fish to fry.
What? You want to fry me?
Ensign, please, don't get your knickers in a twist.
How dare you?
What?
We Nickersonians are a proud species who serve the Federation with honor. You'll forgive me if I decline to be in a twist.
I am so sorry.
I should report this to HR.
I love the way they're sort of, I guess, shining a little bit of a light on the the fact that, let's face it, the Star Trek universe is a very diverse place, infinite diversity and infinite combinations, as Star Trek has always been. But with so many different races of so many different kinds, obviously it's very easy to put your proverbial foot in your mouth with expressions that we use quite innocently on a daily basis. We don't intend to do any offence or cause any offence to anybody. They're just innocent turns of phrase or whatever. But I guess with so many different diverse cultures across the galaxy, as they're kind of implying, no matter what you say, I guess, you know, even though you don't intend to cause offence, some people are offended by simple expressions. It's something we're probably dealing with in society now more than ever before, I think. It's sort of, you know, everyone's got to, you know, be mindful, I suppose, of everybody and be inclusive and everything. But we also have to realise that, you know, there are also very innocent turns of phrase or whatever that don't mean to cause offence as well, but, you know, can sometimes do that.
Captain, might I suggest avoiding figures of speech until we are safely away?
All right, everyone, I'm sorry, okay? It's important that the Federation make all feel welcome, and I apologize. I'm a dumbass. I screwed up. What? Asses are dumb to you? Screws are synonymous with making mistakes? I have a perfect record, Captain.
So now we're just lapsing into absolute ludicrous territory where we have, you know, ass-headed people and screw-headed people as well. No matter what poor old Captain here says, he puts his foot in his mouth. He just can't catch a break. He's meaning to be self-deprecating, but, you know, I think no matter what he says, he's going to be in trouble based on what we're seeing here. They're certainly taking the joke, you know, to the nth degree.
Okay, I've never seen you two before. What do you even do?
We handle water pressure.
Does that need a desk on the bridge? Did you just move your desk here?
You're asking if I just moved this big metal console onto the bridge?
It's just that I haven't seen you before, and water pressure just to me seems like it could be in a lower deck.
You were saying?
One thing I didn't expect with these short treks is them to push the comedic boundaries in some ways even far further than what Lower Decks do. I thought they would be humorous, but kind of stay within that Lower Decks ballpark. But these are just so ludicrous in their concepts. It's playing for just pure comedy without any kind of effort to be canon or anything like that. We're just going for the utmost ludicrous jokes that we can possibly come up with, which is fun.
Fine. Captain, the hull is breached. The next shot will finish us.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? Every time I say something, it seems to conjure someone up out of the ether to be offended about it. Wait, Spock, that's it. There's more than one way to decapitate a human woman.
Our captain really needs to choose his words very carefully here to, I guess, conjure up the right person to help the situation, because every time he opens his mouth, it goes against him. And all of our different weird and wonderful alien races here on the bridge are leaning in to make sure that every single one of his words isn't offensive to anybody or does anybody any kind of harm or insult or anything like that.
Who knows how to get us out of this situation? And also, this human woman, she loves me. She loves me for me. She doesn't tease me because I always eat chicken fingers and mac and cheese by saying, ooh, that's kids' food, because grown-ups can enjoy it too.
It seems like our captain is starting to go off the rails a little bit now. His words have come back to bite him so many times that he's almost doing his head in to craft his words so carefully and so structurally that he's dredging up a lot of, unusual baggage from the past.
And also she likes the board game Risk, and she lets me have Australia, because maybe I don't need to rule the whole world. Maybe I'm just happy with Australia, and I don't see what's wrong with that. You're allowed to do peace treaties. The game allows it. And someone who doesn't need to go clubbing at 10 forward on a Friday night, but is happy to just hang out in my quarters, watching old game shows.
Hey, hands off Australia. That's okay. I think our captain here might need a bit of a few sessions with a therapist after this encounter on the bridge. It seems there's a lot of animosity and a lot of baggage and a lot of history that's sort of coming out here about potentially past relationships and all that sort of thing that are suddenly being brought to the surface with these sudden appearances of aliens that are taking offense at every word that comes out of his mouth.
The comfort of the music and the color palette and the boop, 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 boop.
How dare you be the man I've always dreamed of? Now, here's the plan to get out of here. Divert the power.
Really, Mary?
I love the fact that our female hero character here that suddenly appears. She's got the board game of Risk with all of the parts on Australia. She's eating the bowl of mac and cheese, using the board of Risk as like a kind of a placemat. She's got the badge on her uniform, which is I love game shows. He's conjured up everything that he wants in life, I guess, and immediately proposes to her, but not before the ship is destroyed by the Klingons. So, oh well, it wasn't meant to be. I love the kind of cheesy 70s style disco version of the theme or the music there, that sort of very cheesy disco style that a lot of cartoons and everything had back in the day. I thought this little short trek was a lot of fun. Obviously, you know, it had some points in there which could potentially be contentious. I'm wondering how people will be taking that, whether they'll be taking that as a celebration of diversity in Star Trek, or just, you know, a message of, you know, we can just calm down a little bit and not necessarily take every single thing that comes out of everybody's mouth to complete offence if no offence is meant and it's a very innocent comment. So it could potentially go either way. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of this. Which way do you think it was leaning towards? But I think it was, you know, it was a bit of fun. I enjoyed it. It had some laugh out loud moments, just with all the different crazy alien races that were all suddenly appearing out of nowhere to thwart our captain at every single turn, and really put his foot in his mouth here in this little short trek. So yeah, I thought it was fun. I think you can watch it in the spirit in which it was intended, and hopefully we'll be getting some really funny short treks coming up over the next couple of weeks. There's a few, I think they're going to be dropping on a Wednesday or something as a bit of a present from the anniversary of Star Trek the Animated Series. So there'll be ones from all different Star Trek shows, I think, which will be a lot of fun to see. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, be sure to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. And be sure to check out all my merch in the merch store. T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, caps, you name it. Plenty of really cool stuff in there for you to take a look at. And pick yourself up a bargain. Prices are very reasonable. And there's always a bargain going on, and help support the channel as well. I'll be back really soon with the next video. I'll catch you guys soon.